Welcome everyone to today's Miner's Haven video, where we will be reviewing a Life 1 loop setup. Since this is Life 1, it requires no reborn items. I've also designed this so that you do not need to use any vintage, exotic, contraband items that you will only find in boxes. Every part of the setup is purchasable in the shop. Now, this setup is a loop setup, so your ores will be going around this multiple times. And the reason that you do this is sometimes because certain upgraders can only upgrade ores 4, 5, 6 times. And if you don't want to invest in having 4, 5, or 6 of that same upgrader in your setup, a loop is a good way of only having to buy 1 or 2. For this setup, we will be using the ion field, which is a projectable upgrader that is suspended in the air and upgrades ore a total of 4 times. Another upgrader we'll be using is the professional upgrader. This is not necessary to the setup, and it does cost UC, a premium currency. So if you don't have that much UC, you do not have to include this. The only reason I chose to include this is because it, too, can upgrade an ore only 4 times. So it's a nice coincidence, and it makes it capable for you to use both of these in the same loop setup. Now, how this loop works is you're going to place your dropper right here, about here, so that it drops onto an ore teleporter receiver. Now, the color of the teleporter doesn't matter. I have just chosen to use the very basic one. You can use any color. Any of them works. If you have another teleporter in your setup, you might want to use a different color. Now, you're going to place the teleporter facing towards the end of your setup. You're then going to place a conveyor converter to convert the size of the teleporter to the size of any conveyor. After that, you're going to place an ore cannon to launch your ores through the ion field, which you are going to place in the trajectory of the ores. Now, the ores will launch in a kind of curved pattern, so you will want to put the ion field somewhere in the middle to maximize the amount of times it hits. Now, between the ore cannon, you're going to put in 11 tiles away from the ore cannon. You're going to put a military-grade conveyor. Actually, 2 military-grade conveyors, and then a basic conveyor turning to the left here. Behind this basic conveyor, you're going to put a wall. Any wall works. I've chosen to use the weary wall, but you can use the ruby wall, a stone wall, a wooden wall, a conveyor wall even, just to stop the ores after they get launched from the cannon from bouncing off your conveyors and being destroyed. After that, I have put the professional upgrader, but you do not have to put this. Instead, you can head directly to the final part of the setup. We're going to put 2 more conveyors and a reversible conveyor. Now, this is a very handy piece to have in your setup because it'll allow you to change between the sender of the teleporter used in the beginning to send your ores back to the beginning of the loop and your furnace. In this case, we're using the basic furnace, and for our mine, we will be using the basic iron mine. The reason we are doing this is because we're going to try this again. Okay, basic iron mine, wait for it to drop 1 ore. Okay, there we go. Withdraw it. Gonna go through the ion field launched by the ore cannon, through the professional upgrader, and into the sender, which will then send it back to the beginning. There it is. And we're going to let it do this 4 times, which is how long it'll take to cap. Oh, wait. It's gone again. Okay, something's wrong. Basic furnace sells ore at their authentic value with no multiplier. And the basic iron mine has a very useful base rate of $2. You can see here each ore is selling for $2 inside a basic furnace. So we're going to go ahead and get started. For this demonstration, we're going to be running the loop with only 1 ore. So after this drops 1 ore, I'm going to withdraw it. So there's the first ore. I'm going to withdraw it. As you can see, it's going to go through the ion field and through the sender. It's going to go back again, and we're going to let it do this. Where'd it go? Okay, so my ore has disappeared. That's not normal. Let's try this again. Basic iron mine, and we're going to wait for it to drop 1 ore. There we go. Withdraw it, and the ore is again going to go through the setup. We're going to let it run 4 times, which is how long it'll take for it to reach its maximum upgradable value by the ion field and the professional upgrader, both of which can upgrade an ore 4 times. So that's the second time. Here it goes on its 3rd time. And it's now going to go on its 4th time. So this is how long it'll take to reach the cap. So as it goes through the teleporter now, we are going to reverse the conveyor so it'll go into the furnace. The next time it comes around, here it comes. And it's going to sell for $658. Now from its base rate of $2 to its sell rate of $658, that ore has been multiplied by 329 times. So an ore that comes into the setup, by the time it goes out, it will be multiplied by 329 times. Now, of course, you don't have to put your furnace right after the setup. You can actually continue your setup to add other upgraders you have, or even another loop immediately after this. So thank you for watching this, and I hope you found it useful. This setup is relatively expensive, costing $50 quadrillion, but that's primarily for the ion field, which costs $50 quadrillion. If you want to use another upgrader, which also has an upgrade cap based on the amount of times ore can go through, this setup is good for that. So you can use upgraders that do that, such as the ore roaster or the heat condenser, which will only upgrade ores a certain amount of times. I hope you found this useful, and please incorporate this in your setup. It's very useful. 329 times value, people. That's like from 1 quintillion to 325 quintillion. If you want to know how to get an iron mine to 329 quintillion dollars, then check out another video called Standardizing Loops. Thank you, and have a nice time playing Miners Haven.